Hello friends, so today's video is going to be another what's new in fantasy. I did this for the fall season and I wanted to bring it back for winter. So if you don't know what this is, I always enjoy doing anticipated book releases and primarily fantasy book releases because there's just so many awesome books that are coming out, and obviously my channel is focused around books. However, I do have a lot of other interests that involve anime or adaptations or video games that I know a lot of you are also interested in, and I just don't know that I want to include those things in my anticipated book releases. There's just so many things that I want to talk about that aren't books that are coming out, so I figure it's nice to have a dedicated space for that. I will have information for everything that I talk about, including release dates and links if you want to check these things out a little bit more, all in the description bar. But jumping into it and starting with one that I know everybody basically is excited for. I am not alone in this. This is not some kind of I'm bringing you information that you probably didn't hear about, and that would be the sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn.
The old ones perished 1,000 years ago. Their great cities turned to graves. In their place came new life. And new dangers. I must find a way to stop it. Or it will get worse and worse. Until it destroys us all. There's nothing I wouldn't do to save this world. No depth I won't explore. No secret I won't unlock. No barrier I won't cross. This mission is mine alone. If I falter, if I fail, there won't be anyone left to stop what's coming. Comes. I will be ready.
If by some chance you haven't had the chance to play this and you're a huge fan of video games, this story and this video game in general deserves all the praise, all the hype. It is absolutely incredible. Aloy as a main character has a lot of sass, but she's also very compassionate and she's very strong-willed, and she's an amazing main character to play as. On top of that, her capabilities in the game are incredible. The way that the combat system sort of levels up but is somewhat customizable depending on what weapons you end up liking to use, and then also you have to be very clever with what weapons you use and how you use them depending on what enemies you're fighting, and that gets us into what seems like a super implausible plot line. You have what looks like a society broken up into tribes fighting giant robot dinosaurs and robot animals. but they make it make sense. One other thing I'll add is that this game has incredible music, graphics, and voice acting, so it's just kind of full package. It's one of the absolute best video games I have ever played. I, again, think it deserves all the hype, but this is a sequel to something that a lot of us are aware of. The next couple that I'm going to mention are also video games, and they happen to be brand new, up-and-coming ones that I just think look incredible. Before I jump into those, a little heads up for those of you who are video game fans. There are so many video games coming out this next year or that are in the works that I think look amazing. So myself and some of my other friends who love video games are going to be doing a live show where we get together and we all watch video game trailers together and chat about video games we're excited about. So if you're interested in that, I'll have information for it in the description bar. Definitely be on the lookout. It's scheduled for the 20th of January. It'll be in the nighttime. So hopefully if you have kids, they're in bed, you're off work, and we're just gonna hang out and talk video games. That said, the next thing I want to talk about would be the game Forspoken. I'll save my thoughts for after we watch the trailer, because I think the trailer is gonna go ahead and say more than I could.
Who are you, child?
My name is Frey Holland. I do not know how I got here, and all I want is to go home.
She is hell's spawn. How else did she survive in the corruption?
The people are afraid. They look to me in the council for hope that we cannot give them. But maybe you can.
Wherever I go turns to shit. It's always been this way. Athia's all but lost. Everything that corruption touches,
It breaks. Yeah, I saw it up close.
It is you who trespassed on my land. You who set this battle in motion.
How do you plead?
not guilty.
Lies! She dies!
The thing that has me really drawn to this game is the gameplay. It looks incredible. I'm definitely a big sucker for games where it's literally fun to go from point A to point B, where I don't even sometimes care that much about the main quest or just anything else but moving around. I just have fun doing that because it makes everything about the game fun. And it also, the gameplay looks like an amazing combination of so many other games we've seen before. I think you have aspects of something like Prince of Persia in there. I haven't played the Spider-Man games, but there's definitely aspects that look similar to that. If you've played the new Ratchet and Clank, also has some things that look pretty fun. In general, the gameplay just looks like a blend of so many awesome things. And it, visually, while the graphics aren't the most impressive I've seen, I just think that visually the movement of the game looks just so fun. I'm so excited about it. And I also think that this video game feels like if a YA book that was dystopian portal fantasy was turned into a video game. That's what this looks like to me. And I'm really excited about it. Plus, it looks like there might be hints of a pretty fun story in there too. The last video game that I'll talk about today, like I said, there's so many more I could talk about, but we're saving it for the live show, would be Lies of P. So if you haven't seen the trailer for this one, basically it's Bloodborne. And if you know my video game thoughts, you know that I find Bloodborne very frustrating. I don't like that sort of built-in, you're meant to go back and do things again. It frustrates me a lot. And I'm not one of those people that feels really satisfied by the, oh my gosh, I finally beat this boss. It feels so amazing that I finally got to this point. That doesn't trump the frustration that it takes to get to that point. But I think so much of Bloodborne's look and general feel is really, really cool. And this game, I'm hoping, is less frustrating than Bloodborne. I know a lot of people love Bloodborne though, so they're not going to mind that aspect. In fact, they might crave it. They might even want it to be more difficult than Bloodborne, but I know so many of you are big fans of it. I know my husband enjoys Bloodborne. A lot of my friends enjoy it. So if you haven't seen this one, it's basically Bloodborne, but Pinocchio. And I guess some of your actions determine gameplay, because like Pinocchio, the whole concept of if you lie, your nose gets longer. It's kind of built in where the less good you are, it's built in to go into a different path. Let's just watch the trailer for this one too.
Krat, blossomed into fortune by hands of craftsmen. Truly, a beautiful city. But what use is prosperity against the impending doom that is the plague? This graveyard, I must find it. That is my fate. Wake up, son.
Into a show. I absolutely think we have been spoiled recently with a lot of adaptations. Whether or not we've loved the adaptations is another story, but Witcher Blood Origin is something that kind of caught me by surprise. I was a little frustrated because there were aspects of season 2 of Witcher Netflix show that I felt they were sort of taking time in the regular show to set up things for Blood Origin. And that was a little aggravating to me. However, Blood Origin looks incredible. And if you've read the books, you know there's a lot of history in Witcher that is not, we don't dive into it that much. And in the books, they're just mentioned and it ends up being essentially lore. And then Netflix is taking that lore and doing their own thing with it, which I think by not having this in-depth source material, it will be much easier for book fans to distance themselves and just go into it acknowledging this is something new. It allows Netflix more flexibility while still having a few characters pop up that you've heard of and that you've seen. I don't want to spoil which one is in the trailer for those that haven't read the books or watched the regular season just yet, but it looks amazing. It has impressive cast members, and it's actually the first time I've been like, wow, this might be the first thing that competes with Lord of the Rings as far as the beauty of the landscape. So if you haven't seen the trailer, we'll go ahead and watch that together now too.
We don't have to worry about nothing.
The last thing is something that I honestly don't know a whole lot about. The thing that caught my attention was actually just this one little moment of a character walking, and it was in a community tab post. And I'm like, what is that? That looks really cool. And then I looked into it and I'm like, this looks so fun. I'm not sure if I'm going to be saying this right, but Legends of Vox Machina. So I don't know a whole lot about this. I'll read the description that's listed under the trailer for it. If some of you are way more familiar with it, feel free to leave your thoughts, your excitement, or just more information. But either way, let me read to you what it says. The Legends of Vox Machina is an adult animated fantasy adventure series that follows Vox Machina, a band of misfits with a fondness for boozing and brawling. In a desperate attempt to pay off their mounting bar tab, these unlikely heroes end up on a quest to save the realm of Exandria from dark magical forces. From a sinister necromancer to a powerful curse, the group confronts a variety of obstacles that not only test their skills, but also the strength of their bond. The Legend of Vox Machina is based on the beloved characters and adventures of Critical Role's first live-streamed tabletop role-playing game RPG campaign. This looks to be coming out on Amazon Prime on February 4th, so not that long of a wait if you, like me, think this looks like a lot of fun. Many of you know I'm a big fan of animated things, so I'm really excited about this one. Speaking of animated things, I just want to say really quick, I have fallen head over heels in love with Arcane. Oh my gosh, it deserves all of the hype. But really quick, if you haven't seen this one tweet about this show, so the show, this first season, took apparently 6 years to create, and we will not have to wait 6 years for an additional season. However, we aren't going to be seeing season 2 in 2022, unfortunately. But they can take all the time they need because that show was one of the best shows I have ever seen. It is amazing. And whenever they give us season 2, I will be grateful. I believe that about covers it. I know I went over a lot of different things, so like I said at the beginning, I'll have information in the description bar down below, relevant links, and also if there are any video games that you would like us to watch trailers for in that live show, let me know. If in general there's just other information that you'd like to leave in the comments, maybe some other things you're excited about or more thoughts about things I mentioned, feel free to do so. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all later. Bye.